I'll turn this on for us to begin.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, which will be covering Chicago Business Direct online licensing services. Today, we will be looking at a variety of different things as it pertains to Chicago Business Direct. We will start with online versus in-person service options, an overview of Chicago Business Direct, creating and linking your user profile that you'll create to access Chicago Business Direct, the homepage and what services are available, tax services, license services, creating an application and also managing those applications, and then managing your account. So we're going to start with online versus in-person service options. So business license applications can be applied for online or in person. Online, it is at Chicago Business Direct, which is www.chicago.gov/businessdirect. And then in person is in room 800 of City Hall. That is the Small Business Center. If you come to the Small Business Center to apply, you will get a ticket to meet with a business consultant, and then a business consultant will work with you one-on-one in order to get the licensing that you need. So an overview of Chicago Business Direct. Well, as I said, you can access Business Direct at chicago.gov/businessdirect. This platform is available for both licensing and tax needs, and allows you to do it from the comfort of your own home, from your business, but it does not allow you to do it from a mobile device. While some functionality is available, this site is not supported for mobile devices. So if you are running into an issue and you are working on a mobile device, then we highly recommend you go to a computer. And in most cases, you'll find that you will be able to proceed with what you were trying to accomplish. So in order to access Chicago Business Direct, you will need to have a user profile created. You go to create the user profile. When you go to chicago.gov/businessdirect, you will see the sign in prompt, which also allows you to register your user profile. You start by clicking register today. It will ask you to create a user ID, which needs to be 8 to 20 characters. It requires that you have letters, numbers, and specific special characters. The only special characters you can use are the ones that are there on the screen within the brackets. So the exclamation point, @, hashtag or £, $, up arrow, the ampersand, an underscore, a tilde, or a dash. Your password needs to be 8 to 22 characters. It requires one number, one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, and then one of those specific special characters. You will provide your first name, your last name, your email address, and we highly recommend you use a personal email address instead of your business email. The reason is that Chicago Business Direct is built to manage multiple accounts from one login. This is not a platform where you would create multiple logins for different businesses. The goal is to manage all of your businesses from one point of entry. You'll provide your phone number, and then you will pick your profile type, which will fall under if you're an architect, attorney, a business owner, CPA, expediter, a family member, individual, paralegal, pharmaceutical representative, or structural engineer. And then finally, you will, in order to access licensed services, you will need to provide a photo ID. Now, photo ID should be a government-issued photo ID that is current and valid. This is not a photo for your user profile. It is just for verification purposes that you are who you say you are. So, little information about what the user profile rules are and what information is gathered. The user profile allows you to access CBD to manage your accounts. The user profile provides the user the ability to access all the accounts they manage from a single login. It identifies the specific person who is using CBD and serves as a legal digital signature for that person. A user profile is for an individual, not a group or team. It is not a business account or a tax account. An individual is allowed to have one user profile. If you were to create multiple profiles, those other profiles will be disabled and you will be contacted by a representative to determine which user profile you wish to remain active. Employees who are handling licensing or tax for the company must create the user profile in their own name and not the name of their boss or who they report to. You are creating it for yourself, and then that an officer or owner should provide authorization for you to access the account, and that's something we will cover as we go on. When creating a user profile, you are given access for tax services only. So you can access tax, you just won't be able to access licensing until you upload your photo ID, as I mentioned previously. So how do you link your user profile to the business account? Well, if you're applying for the first time through CBD, your user profile will be automatically linked once the application is approved by a BACP reviewer. If you're using CBD after you've already applied in person, then you can email Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org to get your user profile linked. If you use the same email that to create your user profile that you used while you were applying in person, then you will be auto linked to the account. And if you are somebody who is not an officer or owner of record with the city of Chicago, then the representative from Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org will request that you send a letter of authorization. They will also send you a link with a sample letter so that you can fill it out to be signed off by either an officer of record or an owner of record. And then the BACP staff at the Small Business Center can also assist with linking you to your profile when you apply in person. So if you are applying in person for the first time and you would like to set up your user profile and get linked to your account immediately, please ask your business consultant to help you with that. So user profiles can be linked at different access levels. There's all license services, which will give you access to the license applications and services, but not to tax services. There's all tax services, which is just the flip-flop. You get access to tax, but not to license. You can have all license and tax services, which gives you access essentially to all of the different applications and activities you can do on the site. You can be given access for tax payments only, which means you're only going to go in and submit payment. And if you're a web admin, you have access to all license, all tax, and you can also link other users to the business account. This would give you the ability to not have to provide a letter of authorization because you could just link them directly yourself. So if you have employees who need to gain access, it allows you to be able to manage that yourself instead of having us manage it for you. Please note, none of these levels of access give you access to everything that's being done for that business account. You will see only the applications and the activities that you personally have done. If you try to duplicate an activity, CBD will stop you and let you know which user has already started that activity. So for example, if you were trying to do something as simple as renew a business license, you can't have two people renewing the same license at the same time and end up with a double charge. The site is built to prevent that. So once you provide or set up your user profile, you will gain access to the CBD homepage. This will give you quick access to certain tax services, such as making a payment, filing a return, or voluntary disclosure. For license services, it gives you quick access to the license services screen, renewing a business license, renewing your weighing and measuring devices. You can also access your business accounts directly from the homepage. You can access your current applications. And then you can also review the application wait times. If you click on that, you will see the breakdown based on the application types that are available for the different licensing services, which you will see in one of the upcoming slides. So we're going to start with tax services. Tax services, there are seven options, my apology, that are available from the tax services page. As we already discussed, make a tax payment and file a tax return, which are available on the home page. But you also can make other payments, manage your email notifications, view your payment history, and manage a certificate of registration, as well as the voluntary disclosure, which is also available on the home page. License services page gives you access to go to your applications and manage those. Create a new business location application, new pharmaceutical representative application, renew your licenses, your weighing and measuring devices, update your ownership and officers, move a location, add a new license, update your business assumed DBA, and close a location. We'll go into a little more detail on these now. So my applications will show you all of your active, completed, and canceled applications. Your new business location application tile gives you the ability to create a new business account. So if this is the first time you're applying for that specific business, then you would use the new business location application. If you are adding a location or changing the location of an existing license, then you would use either move a business location or add a business location. And if you just need to add a license to a specific location, such as adding a liquor license to a restaurant, adding a tobacco license to a corner store, something of that nature, you would use the add a new license so that you're not creating new locations on your account. You're just adding to your existing location licenses. And then, as you said, you can renew your business licenses. If you set up your account through CBD, you will find out that any license that you have under that account will all renew on the same month and date and year. They're on most licenses are on a 2-year cycle that will need to be renewed in the 15th of the month you apply. You can update your ownership and officers. This is something we run into a lot. When you are renewing your license, that you find out you have to update those. It will require that your license is active. So if you are renewing, we recommend go ahead and do the renewal and then do the update of your ownership and officers. You can update your business assumed name. This is not your legal entity name. So if you change the name of your corporation, your LLC, those are going to need to be done through an in-person application, or in certain circumstances, we can coordinate that through email. But through email, it will require you mailing in the application with the required documents, along with a check, money order, cashier's check for the application fee. So when you are doing update a business assumed and DBA name, realize that it's only updating that. It is not going to update a legal entity if you change that with either the Secretary of State of Illinois or whichever state you registered your legal entity in. Close a business location closes all licenses for a specific location. So if in an example like a restaurant that has a liquor license, if you're just closing your liquor license, contact us at businesslicense@cityofchicago.org so that we can cancel the one license instead of canceling out the whole location, and then none of your licenses would be active. New pharmaceutical representative license application is for pharma reps only who are working in the city of Chicago. And then renewing your weighing and measuring device certificates. So for anyone who's applying and has scales for deli, for weighing anything, could be flour, candy, anything that requires a weight measurement has to be certified by the city. So, and those can be renewed on those can be renewed with that specific activity on CBD. Now, whether you are a new business or an existing business, you can apply for your licenses through CBD. The first is to click on the tile that best represents the action you want to take. When you click on that tile, CBD is going to start asking you questions, starting out with, do you have an existing account? And it'll give you the option of yes, no, or help me find out. If you choose help me find out, CBD is going to ask specific questions to gather information to search the database to see if you do have an existing account. Next, this CBD is going to ask the physical location. If you choose yes, if you choose yes that you are in the location of Chicago, it's going to lock in Chicago as the city and it cannot be changed. If you choose no, the application will allow you to see only the activities that require a city license when you're located outside the city limits. So if you're not sure if you should be applying from a business location or if you're doing something like a shared kitchen user, and you're not sure what address you should apply from for that application, contact Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org, or you can also contact Business License at cityofchicago.org to confirm what address you should be applying from. Then CBD is going to ask if you operate this business out of your home. If you say yes, it is going to say that you have to apply in person. Currently, we do not allow home occupation applicants to apply online. If you choose no, you will be directed to start your application by selecting your specific business activities. And once again, if you cannot find a specific activity that you are trying to apply for, please email Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org for assistance. So selecting your business activity. As you can see that you can either choose from a drop down, and this will give you business types. So if you're looking at something like a full service restaurant, a tavern, massage facility, general merchandise, retail location, you can either find that in the drop down and it'll show you what activities apply, or you can search by searching keywords that would match that activity and see if that'll gather results as well. If you're having trouble finding your activity, once again, Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org. But when you find the correct type that you're looking for, as you can see, there's an example on the screen of a full service restaurant. And then you would just check off the specific activities that apply for your specific business. Then that'll take you to the application steps. So there are steps to actually gain a license through the city. The first is to provide the initial business information. So we've already covered the business type and the business activities. You're also going to have to provide a business description. This is a detailed description of what your business does. You will provide information regarding your business, such as your legal entity information, your DBA, square footage, number of employees, the address where you will be operating from. If applicable, you may have to supply documents for your zoning reviews. Some licenses, such as liquor, such as a children's facility, are going to require upfront documentation to gain zoning approval. You will get to preview the business licenses that will be required for the activities you've chosen, and then you will review your application and submit that to zoning. When you submit your application to zoning, it will not be submitted until you submit your $25 upfront fee. This $25 fee will be deducted from the final cost of the license upon application approval. However, if the application is denied, or you end up having to cancel the application because you find out that it's not needed, or you have to apply for something different, or you locked in Chicago and you have to change the location, unfortunately, that $25 fee is non-refundable. So once you've submitted it to zoning, you will go through the zoning review. Once you get approval from zoning, then you will need to enter, you will get your application back. From there, you are going to go in and enter specific entity information, additional information about your business. There will be questions you have to answer regarding your business, and then you will submit that for review. Then the reviewer will work with you to get your application approved. Once it's approved, you submit payment, and then your application is completed fully at that point. And then if there's any inspections, if there's any additional information that the city's going to need in order for the license to be issued, that's when you will go through that. Typically, it's just inspections. So certain applications will determine what inspections you will need, such as a restaurant is going to require an inspection from public health. A children's facility may need inspections from the Department of Buildings, as well as public health, and sometimes even fire and so forth. If there are any holds on the account, those will have to be resolved before the license will be issued. And then the final step is we issue the license, either by you picking up the license at the small business center or us sending it to you via US mail. So when you're gathering your information to start the application process, here are some of the things that you are going to possibly need to provide in order to continue with the application process. One is your federal employee identification number, which will sometimes be referred to as your FEIN or your FIN number. The state of Illinois file number. So if you established your legal entity in another state, do not provide that state's file number. We specifically ask for the state of Illinois file number so that we know you have registered as a foreign entity in the state. Your Illinois Department of Revenue tax ID, or your IDOR number as it's referred to. This is only needed if you're conducting retail or wholesale sales. If you are not conducting retail or wholesale sales, then you do not need to enter in an actual IDOR number. However, the system is going to ask you to enter something. You can enter all zeros, all nines, just something vague and nondescript that we will realize that obviously is not needed for this type of application. If you do put that in and we discover it is needed, then the application is going to hold and be in a clarification process until that number is provided, and then we can move forward. Also, you're going to need to provide identifying information for contacts and contacts for all owners and officers. That is required by Chicago Municipal Code 4-4-050. We will require that owners and officers declare their home address, their personal phone number, either their cell or their home number, and their social security number and birth date. All of that needs to be supplied. And then in many cases, it's good to have your lease handy in case you need to upload your signed lease to the application, or if we just need to verify information on your lease in order to move forward. CBD requests the minimum required documentation for your application to be approved. Sometimes we will need additional documentation in order to move forward in the process. Your zoning reviewer or your BACP reviewer will request that information directly to you via email or through the application comment section, which we are going to talk more about now. So for those of you that are familiar and for those of you that are not, there are times when you are going to get clarification required. What does it mean that an application requires clarification? So for this example, we're going to say that during the zoning review process, there was a request for clarification on your business description. Okay. So you will find your application in your My Applications queue. Applications requiring clarification or have not been submitted back to BACP will be in red, and applications which have been submitted, canceled, or approved will be in blue. When you click on the application which requires clarification on the summary page, on the right side of the green header, you're going to see that clarification required. Click here as you're currently seeing in the screenshot here. So you'll click on that, which will take you to that section of the application. Now, in this specific example, you're seeing that there's a business description required and that clarification is required on that. You can click on the clarification required section, which is going to open up the comment that was left by the BACP reviewer. Now, in this example, you see the BACP reviewer is asking for a more descriptive description. So this gives you the opportunity now to update the business description and also provide a comment to your BACP reviewer. Comment is not necessary if you just update the description and resubmit the application. But if you need more clarification from the reviewer as to how it needs to be amended, you can place a comment and then resubmit the application. Just remember to resubmit the application because we cannot see it until you resubmit it for us to take action on it. So finally, I want to cover account management. A lot of users don't really take advantage of the different ways you can manage your account yourself without having to reach out via email or calling us. So in the upper right corner of the home page, there's a menu that provides the different ways you can manage your account. Now, as you can see, it will link you to some of the services that you already have quick access to from the home page, such as license and tax services, or such as file a tax return, make a payment, etc. But it also gives you access to manage your user profile, where you can update your email address and your phone number. It gives you access to your business accounts, where you can see information regarding the status of your licenses, the status of inspections that may be required in order for you to obtain your license, and it'll also provide any holds that you have on your account. So if you find that your license is pending, if you scroll down a little further on the My Business Accounts page, you may see that there's holds that are preventing the release of your license. You can also manage account access from that page if you're a web admin. So if you want to link users, if you want to revoke user access for somebody who may have left the company or changed divisions and is no longer responsible for licensing or tax, you can handle that directly from Manage Account Access. You can also change your password. So just some resources. I know I've said probably ad nauseum, Chicago Business Direct at cityofchicago.org. But that is a very important email if you're using the site. So if you have any questions, if you're having a technical difficulty with the website, anything that basically is stopping you in your tracks, send an email to us, and then we can determine, what level of assistance is needed, or if you just need, a boost getting over to the next section because of some minor oversight. For more information on business licenses itself, you can visit chicago.gov/business licensing. And for information regarding tax services, please email revenuedatabase@cityofchicago.org. So that concludes the presentation on Chicago Business Direct. I am going to open it up for questions at this time.
Okay, we have a question. What if you need foreign entity forms?
So foreign entity information is done through the state. So you would need to reach out to the Illinois Secretary of State. They have an office down here at 69 West Washington, which is just south of Daley Plaza. And then you can also access them online at ilsos.gov.
I work from home. I want to confirm I have to go in person to apply.
Yes, now there's a follow-up to that. If you work from home for an employer, you are not required to be licensed in the city of Chicago. We do not require you to have a license because your employer has you working remotely. However, if you are running a business out of your home, whether it's administrative only, you're doing an online sales website, you're a home repair person, you're a maid service who does residential cleaning, something like that, then yes, that requires a home occupation license. And yes, that does require that you apply in person.
What documents should I bring when I go in person?
If you come in person, we highly recommend you bring any legal entity information, such as your articles of organization for an LLC or your articles of incorporation for a corporation. If you're doing retail or wholesale sales, recommend bringing in your tax ID certificate from the Illinois Department of Revenue. We recommend you bring in your lease, your FIN number, and then it could also mean you may need additional documentation based on the kind of license you're applying for. We recommend just bringing in the minimum documentation at first, because if you're applying for something such as tobacco, liquor, children's facility, massage facility, tattoo, anything like that, there's going to be a lot of documentation required. It makes more sense to come in to get that information and work with a business consultant on getting the proper documentation that we need in order to move forward with your application.
I am a child care daycare provider. Can I apply online?
Yes, if you're doing childcare from your home, then you need to be registered with, I believe you register with the state or DCFS. We don't have jurisdiction over that. But if it's a commercial childcare location, then yes, you can apply for that online through Chicago Business Direct. Do we have any other questions?
That's question regarding childcare. They're asking for more clarification.
Okay. So if you are running a childcare or daycare operation, if you are running that from your home, so parents bring their children to your home to meet with or to have you take care of them for the day, we have no jurisdiction over that. That is licensed at the state level, or you gain your licensing through DCFS. I'm not 100% on that. But if you have a commercial location, so you have a physical brick and mortar location that is a daycare, is a child services facility, maybe you're doing child play, child sports, anything where it's anyone 18 and under who is not being attended to by their parent, then you have to have a children's services facility license for that location. I see a question there about GC license renewal. We don't, BACP doesn't handle GC licensing. That's handled through the Department of Buildings. So you would need to contact the Department of Buildings for the renewal process from them. Same thing with the demolition license.
I don't really see anything else. We'll give you guys like 2 more minutes before we end today's webinar. I am in Park Forest. I am considered in Cook County. Do I have to be licensed in Chicago to do business in Chicago?
So it depends on what kind of business you're doing from Park Forest. So to do business in Chicago, yes, certain businesses do need to be licensed, but it's going to be determined based on the license type. What kind of business are you? Agriculture? I do not believe you would need to be licensed within the city of Chicago for agriculture. We have no jurisdiction in Park Forest over that. The kind of businesses that would require licensing is if you were doing home repair, your tow truck, your waste management company who has customers within the city of Chicago. If you're using one of Chicago's shared kitchens, so those would be some of the licenses that you would be outside of the city, but you would need that license in order to operate in the city.
What kind of license do I need from selling food from home?
So if you're selling food from home, you would need to look into the cottage food law. That is handled by the Chicago Department of Public Health. So for more information on that, reach out to the Chicago Department of Public Health. You can email them at the email address is very simple. It's food@cityofchicago.org.
You have someone asking about notary business, working from home, doing a notary business.
If you are running a notary business from your home, yes, you would need to have that be licensed through the city.
What kind of license does a photographer need?
So photographer, it depends on what you're doing. If you have a studio location, an actual brick and mortar studio location, then you would need to be licensed for the studio. But a photographer who say you're doing, contract work, or your freelance photographer, no, you don't need to be licensed by the city. Where you're doing the photography, you may need to check with either the business, or if you're doing it like in the Chicago parks, check with the park district before you just go ahead and do it. But As far as needing a license to do that contract work, no. But if you are running if you're running your own business as a photographer, the administrative spot, now if that's run out of your home, you would need a home occupation license for the administration portion of your business. But to do the actual photography work, no, you do not need to be licensed.
If you don't have any more questions, and if you think of a question later on after today's webinar, please send your question to BACP Outreach at cityofchicago.org. Again, that's BACP Outreach at cityofchicago.org. Thank you for today's webinar, Brian.
Saturday.
To learn more about upcoming webinars, please visit cityofchicago.gov/BACP webinar. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
John or someone at Costco.